You have been watching perhaps one of the most disgraceful performances by an American president at a summit in front of a Russian leader, certainly that I've ever seen.
Putin has recruited psychologically the President of the United States.
I have never seen an American president simply surrender to the leader of Russia. You should call this the Surrender Summit.
When do we see almost a shadow government come out and say, we cannot side with the government, whether it's the cabinet or the Senate? I think that's the big question.
Who let all the dumb people on TV? It's like the question we ask every night. More so today than maybe before, certainly in a long time. The reaction in the press to the summit today was so over the top that it was awe-inspiring, but the reaction of politicians was even more so. Chuck Schumer, who holds elected office in the United States Senate, suggested that Vladimir Putin is literally blackmailing the President of the United States. He did not provide evidence for that charge. Nancy Pelosi in the House went even further. She said that today was ironclad proof that Russia has something on President Trump. Wasn't a lot of reasoned discourse going on today, to put it mildly. Tammy Bruce is a reasoned person. She's a radio show host in New York, a friend of this show, and she joins us tonight. Tammy, what do you make of this?
You know, it's fascinating. Look, in President Trump's press conference, there's something we all didn't like necessarily. But the reaction, the overreaction, is extraordinary. Keep in mind, these are the people who said that the tax cuts were going to cause Armageddon, that the end of net neutrality was going to literally kill people, that President Trump meeting with North Korea was going to cause World War III. And now we've got this, a press conference after a 4-hour meeting. Is supposedly treason, or at least, as you've noted, from a Congress member, should require a military coup. The American people at this point know something, and that is, with all the work he's done so far, with whatever disagreements you may have with President Trump, he loves this country, and he is working for this country. And that is clear. So when you see this kind of hysterical reaction multiplied, it worries the American people. And if their reaction is supposedly about national security and how the nation is viewed, how is this country viewed when you do have elected officials suggesting a coup either via shadow government or through the military or denigrating the president so publicly? If that was the concern, my point is that this, of course, is politics. It's not about national security.
But they seem to mean it. I mean, they seem desperate to force me to believe. It's basically a Russia agnostic. I have no interest in going to Russia. I'm not interested in Russia. But they're trying to force me to believe that Russia is the worst country in the world, the greatest threat to my liberty, the greatest threat to the United States of America. Well, that's just stupid. Like, anyone who pays any attention knows that's not true. So it's not a defense of Russia, but it's just not, China's a much bigger threat. So why are they trying to force me to believe that and punish me if I don't nod in agreement? I don't understand.
Because that was their first premise. They've based everything on Russia controlling Donald Trump. That was their premise for the first 6 months, was to get him either to resign or to get him impeached. And look, the Russians, we agree, we know, did meddle. And we know that there's like that theme of basic reality that Obama did nothing about, issued stand-down orders to Susan Rice. We know that through congressional testimony. And so we know that that's occurred. The president it tends to bring the two together, which is this unfair witch hunt versus the actual dynamic of meddling in this country, which, by the way, it really had no impact. That's clear. But in the meantime, the Democrat Party, the never-Trumpers, the establishment, invested in this fantasy of the president, Donald Trump, being controlled by the Russians, which, of course, is absurd. And his performance over the last over 500 days has proven his commitment to this nation. So this is their only investment. This is what they have. And they clearly are indicating the level of their panic and need for this to be the case. And the American people have rejected it before, and I think they'll reject it again.
It seems a little disproportionate, to be totally honest, to put it mildly. So also during his press conference today, the president raised once again the matter of the DNC's email server, which we're told was hacked by Russia. We're required to believe that, too. But for some reason, it was never turned over to the FBI. Here's part of what the president said.
You have groups that are wondering why the FBI never took the server. Haven't they taken the server? Why was the FBI told to leave the office of the Democratic National Committee? I've been wondering that. I've been asking that for months and months, and I've been tweeting it out and calling it out on social media. Where is the server? I want to know, where is the server, and what is the server saying? With that being said, all I can do is ask the question.
Meanwhile, Hillary Clinton made another appearance to remind the world that she ought to be president. Yesterday, she tweeted this: "Great World Cup. Question for President Trump as he meets Putin. Do you know which team you play for?" So I'm interested, Tammy, in this question of the server. I wouldn't be shocked if Russia tampered with it. They've been causing mischief in this country for 100 years, so that would not surprise me. But why is it considered unpatriotic to ask basic questions like, well, where's the server? Did you look at it? Why didn't the FBI look at it? Can you answer my basic questions? Why am I not allowed to ask those questions? I'm working for Putin if I do. I don't have a right as an American citizen to get straight answers to simple questions?
Yeah, look, technically, actually, we believe the server may have been decommissioned and actually taken apart. This is news from April of this year, and a filing from the DNC that they were required to decommission or remove software and take apart about 140 servers, 180 computers, and 11 separate servers. So it may actually not even exist at this point. But for the president, and I think that this is key, the Americans know that he loves the country. They know that it's hogwash what they're hearing from the media today. But the president, I think, would, help put this kind of situation to bed, if you will, by addressing the fact that, yes, there is meddling, and that what's happening here on the political end is very different and has nothing to do with the fact that he won this election fair and square, but that there are questions that we have to ask about the politics that have invaded this. The Peter Strzok testimony from yesterday, shocking. And I think that this is where the American people deserve answers.
But I just want my specific questions answered. It's one thing to say, oh, they hacked or they tampered. I believe that completely. But tell me what that means. Why don't you be very specific about it? Nobody will. Oh, you're working for Putin. When people won't be specific to simple questions, you know there's deceit. That's my view.
Yeah, the president's going to hear these complaints, and I think so will the FBI.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Great to see you.